What's happening, guys? So today I want to give you over 20 different places to find product ideas. So if you're struggling to find your next idea, or you're feeling like everyone's looking in those same databases and software tools and you want to start going against the grain and find those ideas others are not looking for, then stay tuned. So first off, I want to run through a little bit about why it's important to start looking in these different places and not just relying on the product databases themselves in most of these software tools. So with a product database, understand that the process runs from the criteria you input on that software tool, then shows you the product, and then you look at the market for that product, the competitors, the reviews, whether you could differentiate, and then whether or not you could build a brand out of that. And so with this method, the pros are that it's extremely automated. You put in your criteria and you gain a list of potential products back. It's very fast, it's efficient, it's neat, and it's easy. And that is the main reason why so many new sellers are using these software tools. The cons here though are that there's widespread use of the exact same criteria, less than £1, etc., by many sellers. And everyone finds the same idea because of those aspects. Ideas are also limited to what's already on the Amazon marketplace or whichever e-commerce platform you're looking at. Whereas if you don't use these databases and you go look at the market in general, you could find ideas that are not on the marketplace yet. It also increases your competition risk, and not only in the immediate term, but in the next 2 months. If everyone's finding that idea at the same time you are and planning to launch that product, the market may look really good right now, but in 2 or 3 months, it may be quite saturated in a sense because so many sellers have now launched up that product. It also limits your big picture outlook. What I mean by this is it's extremely product focused. Criteria, find the product, launch the product. And you're not so much thinking about who buys that product, who is that customer, who is that market, and how could I build a brand, a line of products that could serve that market in general. At the same time, it reduces the creativity of the research process. You can find ideas in tons of different places, even in your everyday life, although that's tougher. But many of those may present even better opportunities. So don't limit yourself or get stuck in a system of only looking at software tools and product databases. And linking into the big picture outlook again is that this is very product driven. It's not brand driven or audience driven. It's taking into account your criteria and looking at what already sells well and giving you potential products based on only that. Now moving over to our manual method here, we are not entirely focusing on a brand approach. I can do a video on that another time. But what we are looking at is the market first of all. So we're looking at different spaces online, different markets online, different niches, if you will. And then we're moving into, okay, in these areas, which products are selling well or which products look like great potential products for us. And then we're looking at the criteria lastly. So we're finding areas to find product ideas, gaining those product ideas, and then running through our Amazon criteria, etc. Those ideas may already be selling on Amazon, but it's also very likely that they're not even on the Amazon marketplace yet. So the pros to this method: far fewer competitors following this method. What you find won't be instantly found by others. It increases the sustainability of your competitive advantage. And you find new to Amazon ideas before they're even on that market. So depending on how you follow this method that we touch on today, you could be learning a lot more about your market than if you were using a product database. What I mean by that is you looking into a specific area online and the types of products doing well there or that would do well on Amazon from that space. And so you're learning more about your customer and your audience what products they enjoy, and you can even start thinking about product line extension ideas. So this approach could be brand driven or product driven. If you're going with the brand driven, in which the prior point makes more sense, then what you're doing is looking for specific areas online with a specific audience and starting from there and building your product line out from there. If you're just doing the product approach here, then you can look in any of these areas and just start with one of the products and look into the brand or audience a bit later. So the cons to this method is that this will require much more of your attention than a product database or a software tool. It requires you to make a lot of calculations. So for example, if you find a product that you think is excellent and that serves a market very well and you're considering building a brand around that, you then need to go do all your profit calculations. If it's not on Amazon yet, you need to vet whether similar products are doing well on the marketplace and make a calculated judgment on that. You're going to need to find suppliers and do your net profit calculation. You're going to need to figure out how big the product is, how much it weighs, and calculate FBA fees. So you can see it is a little bit more manual on this side of things. It's definitely more messy in a sense. It's not as neat as a product database, which automatically stores all these criteria points for you. The evaluation of more platforms is needed. You are going to find ideas in all the different spaces, and so that can take more time, more work. Specifically, the new to Amazon products, so the ones not on the platform yet, pose a bigger risk if you're going to launch that product. But at the same time, they could end up giving you a much bigger reward. So what is this manual method about? So with this method, you're going to evaluate multiple online spaces, which we're going to get into now, to understand what your market desires and build a list of products. So remember, you could be doing this from a brand approach, knowing I'm looking to build this brand with this type of products, and then you're going to target your search in towards those parameters. On the other end, if you're just looking for high potential products, you can definitely start out with this as well, and then you're just going to go into these spaces without that specific aim towards a certain audience. Overall, you're going to build out a list of products here, between 10 and 20 products. Examine the problems with those products or ways in which you can actually better those products, and some will immediately start to drop off that list of 10 to 20. Now put those remaining ideas through the normal Amazon criteria that you're looking for, and then vet the competition. So slowly your list will be broken down even further. Let's say you started with 20 and you moved down to 10 because you couldn't differentiate the other 10. Now you break it down even further on Amazon criteria. So based on size and weight, another 5 of those actually drop off your list and you're left with 5 ideas. Then you're looking at the competition as well, and one perhaps has just far too many reviews, or you feel the differentiation is not going to make you stand out enough, and maybe you drop down to 4 ideas. And then take your remaining ideas and you're going to run them through a profitability test. And this one is often extremely revealing. Some products are not very profitable. And so from here, you should be able to narrow that list of 3 or 4 down to 1 product that is definitely the best to move forward with. So you're going to try get down to the top 3 and then choose the very best one based on how much you can differentiate and how much that's valued by your market, and 2, how much profit you would earn per unit. So where to find these product ideas? Let's get into this. So social sites related to products. Here you could look at Pinterest, you could look at Fancy, which is a really good site for gift items. You could look at life hacks. This is one of my favorite. It's really simple life hacks. Sometimes they're actually not even proper products. They're just sort of things that have been jimmied together to make a very good solution. But you can often turn that solution into an actual product. Wanello is Want, Need, Love, and this also collects little niche stores all in one place. My personal favorite here is definitely life hacks. You can see some of the awesome solutions that people come up with, and you can definitely turn these into real product ideas, new to Amazon products as well. And here are just some to show you how these ideas can actually develop into real world products. This one over here, you can see you just have it marked on the bottle. It's a life hack. You mark on the bottle what level of water you should have drunk by what time in the day. And now a lot of bottles on Amazon actually have this feature built into them. They're manufactured in this way. Here you can see another little clever use of clips to organize cables. Cable management's becoming a huge industry. There you have an inexpensive way to create a cookbook holder. And so as you go through this type of site, some of them will be silly, but some of them are actually going to present real solutions to real needs and problems that people have. And you can develop these into your own products. Influencers. So this is probably the biggest up and coming area in e-commerce currently. But you want to look at influencers for two primary reasons. Number one, you definitely want to try use influencers to help launch your product and get your product out there. But in terms of this discussion today, what you can also use influencers for is finding product ideas. An influencer generally has an audience, so you know who those customers are. And so by looking at their channels, you can establish what that audience wants. Look at what the influencer is promoting, and it can give you a very good idea in terms of building your brand up, your product line up toward a certain group of consumers. So here you're going to find influencers in specific niches and evaluate what they're promoting. It shows you a type of product that audience wants. You can use a site called InfluPeople, which is actually quite a new site. You can use FollowerWonk, or you can use Little Bird. Here on the side, you can see an example of this for Twitter influencers, trending product sites. So here you're going to follow consumer trends and get to grip with your audience and find innovative ideas that could spark your next product creation process. Springwise, so they give you a really nice collection of product ideas from all around the world. Actually, they travel around the world getting entrepreneurial ideas from different countries. You have Uncrate, which is aimed more specifically towards products for men, and Trend Hunter or Outblush, which is products for women. Crowdfunding sites, so some of the most innovative ideas come out on these platforms. You want to scroll through these and look at those ideas, and do keep in mind a lot of these ideas have not even yet been created. These are being funded, so they actually create a prototype and then gain funding at a discounted rate, so people can purchase the product on pre-sale in a way at a discounted rate, and those funds are then used to actually manufacture and bring that product to life. So you're going to find a ton of very innovative ideas here. And you also want to evaluate the support from the market, and that's another thing you can do here. Is a project getting a lot of funding? Is a project not getting a lot of funding? Is a project getting funding and perhaps comments on how that product could be improved? And so you can see how this will bring you a lot of very cool new ideas. You can of course look at Kickstarter, the most well-known. You could look at Indiegogo, that's my personal favorite out of all of these. They're even starting their own e-commerce section. And then Crowdfunder. Now looking more towards the mainstream. So here you're looking for more of the up and coming standard products. You're not going to find as innovative products as you would on Indiegogo, for example. With these products, you're probably looking at higher competition because they're more mainstream. However, if you can spot real problems, if you can spot ways to really improve these, you could definitely be onto a big opportunity. So here you want to be looking at HSN, The Grommet, and Touch of Modern. Now, B2B websites, these will be more well known. So business to business websites like Alibaba, like supplier websites, are often thought to just be places to source products, but in fact, these are filled with manufacturers and distributors, and these are people right at the beginning of the supply chain who actually have production lines. This is where new products actually come to life, and so it's a great place to actually find products as they come out. Additionally, because you have suppliers in certain niches, this can be an excellent place to find bundle ideas. So maybe you have the primary product you want to do, but to better it, you need a certain accessory. Well, these supplier sites can be a great way to find that. You have Alibaba.com, the most well known. You also have TradeKey, and there is another one called Global Sources. Online consumer marketplaces. So this is the most central to what we do. This is in fact where most of our ideas are pulled from, even with product databases and software tools. So here you would be looking at things like Amazon, but don't forget about the other platforms. A good example of Amazon would be the Amazon bestsellers list and manually moving through there, which I really recommend. That's a very, very good way to find ideas. But don't forget about all these other marketplaces as well. Amazon bestsellers list. You also have the Amazon movers and shakers list. You have AliExpress bestsellers. You have eBay market research. You have Etsy, which is more of a handmade focus as well. So overall, guys, whether you're doing this with a brand approach and building a company for a specific audience, or just looking to start with your first potential product, these are excellent places to find those ideas. Find a list of 10 to 20, break that down further by removing the products you cannot add value to or differentiate or fix the problems with. Then run those through Amazon criteria and narrow even further down to what will work in the FBA business model, and break those even further down by looking at net profitability down to the cent. If you got value in this session, please do subscribe below and let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think? Do you have additional ideas? What sites do you use? Are you fixed on product databases? Are you looking elsewhere? Do you avoid certain products, or do you actually go for the products everyone says you should avoid? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video.